It has not been a good launch for the new Forza Motorsports. In reality, it has not been well received by users at all. For example, Steam Charge has it at 38% months after its release and months after some patches. Xbox Store has it at 2.5 stars, so it is really not looking good even compared to its predecessors, for example Forza 7, or even with the Horizon series, especially 5 when 5 was criticized for having a stale formula. We can check more or less how this is going by having a look at Steam player base, and in this we can see that the amount of players have dropped incredibly to less than 700 peak. Not that it was ever popular due to the reception of Forza Motorsports. Of course, Steam is not where the majority of players are, but we can, with this, infer the overall health of the title player base by comparing trends and comparing with other titles. For example, when it has less players on Steam than Automobilista 2 currently and Forza Horizon 5 has close to 20,000 players on Steam on the daily years later after it was launched, something has gone terribly wrong, and that something has been truly addressed by many, including my review of Forza Motorsports, that continues to be as fresh and relevant as it when it was launched. So go check it out and also subscribe to the channel. Because of all of this, due to the state of the title, Tora has cancelled some of their most popular racing series, mentioning multiplayer issues like stability and invisible cars. Racing Haven has also followed suit. The creators of the Game Awards winner of Racing Game of the Year 2023, in this case, the Turn 10, is probably feeling a little bit of a pinch of all of this. While sales are important, Game Pass, or Games as a Service, is bread and butter to many studios, and having their central piece of content underperforming massively is likely not very good for them. It has been 3 or 4 months since launch, and now Turn 10 is finally looking up to address the issues. However, it's not given any time frame on when they are going to start addressing all of this or when we're going to see the improvements on the first patch. In a Forza forum post, Turn 10 identifies some critical areas to be improved. We are taking a moment at the start of this year to thank you for your support and feedback since launch, reflect on some of the things we have learned, and share what you can expect from us in the coming months. We know that the progression system in Forza Motorsports is a divisive topic among our players, and they also add, it is clear from looking at feedback that while many of our players are enjoying the system as is, for many others it isn't really delivering the upgrade experience that they expect from Forza Motorsports. To address this, we are exploring changes to the system. Our goal with these changes is to retain what is working for those that enjoy it, while resolving the issues many of our most dedicated players have with the system. Well, divisive is an understatement to say the least. When the currently leveling system made a player not to play the game by leaving it all assists in auto and then go somewhere else to avoid to grind it, and leaving the computer or the Xbox doing whatever it needs to go to do and going around the track, it really means the grind is in the way of enjoying the title, because there's really not a proper balance between having your time spent in the game and what you are receiving from the game. We have to understand that Forza build system is as important for single player as it is for multiplayer. It is the way to experiment, the way to have fun, add variety, create something obnoxious, or roleplay something. The car RPG system is interesting on paper if your thing is to drive just a handful of cars and build that connection like they were saying in the start of the game, but I'd wager that the vast majority of Forza players are really not playing Forza for car RPG. This was one way that players are leaving uninterested in the current state of the game, but not all means the only one. Turn 10 also identifies Forza race regulations in multiplayer and also work in single player as a problem. They say, we are aware that Forza race regulations are not working as intended in some situations. We have heard about the consistent or unfair penalties in instances of intentional ramming, being pushed off the track, and spinning cars pushing drivers off the track. We have also heard that high-speed collisions sometimes have no penalties, while low-speed collisions have mild penalties. It is important that we capture all the data that we can about a race when FRR rulings happen in error. So over the next few months, we will be working with some longtime competitive motorsports player to gather direct telemetry from them while they're playing. They will be capturing these instances and feeding data to our team so that we can issue tweaks to make FRR more accurate and reliable. It doesn't really take much to understand that Forza penalty system has massive issues. The Forza dirty driver meme exists for a reason, and lately multiplayer driving has become worse and worse to the point I really stopped caring much about driving it as it was becoming more of a chore and less enjoyable. And this while I praise the interesting multiplayer model in driving, and during the first couple of months it was really incredibly enjoyable to drive multiplayer in my opinion. In reality, it was really the only thing that held this title together for me. If the lobbies become dirtier, then drivers that don't want to deal with this leave, which in turn makes the lobbies become even dirtier. Without a decent penalty system or a way to report griefing, it is hard to justify spending any time playing this title online as well as single player, because honestly there are much better choices out there. So it is really good that they are having a look at this system, but I'm very much worried that it will not help at all because it's a very complex system to mess around, and if it's gonna take months, it's likely people will stop playing this altogether and forget that Forza Motorsports exists. The last point they raise is about AI. We have seen feedback about our AI driving's behavior, abruptly braking and slowing down, not accelerating out of exits, braking too hard on mild corners, and following racing lines too strictly. We understand how important it is to have fair and competitive AI in motorsports, and our top priorities in early 2024 are addressing overly aggressive AI while also getting a cleaner race start into turn 1, where many of these issues above most severely manifest and impact players. AI needs work, a lot of it. As of this moment, it's one of the biggest problems Forza has. Difficulty-wise, I don't really find them difficult. Some tracks seem to give a better skill rating to the AI than others, and also a better experience. But its behavior has always been messy, and it's really good that Turn 10 with these points they are making, they address all the main issues of complaint, and if they know exactly what is going on, it's likely that they're going to address it correctly, or at least into a way that it makes sense for all of us. But all of these points that we're talking about raises the bigger issue with Forza Motorsports. If the single player unlocking is grindy, the multiplayer is becoming dirty or unstable to the point that some of the popular series there are being cancelled, and the AI is in such a state that driving single player can be a horrid experience, these three addressed points are essentially 90% of the game. So I'm really glad that Turn 10 identified the bulk of the problems, which are definitely the majority of reasons why players are leaving or at least waiting for an improvement to come back. There are also other points such as graphics, which is for me a huge mess because they made such a big deal of graphics, but graphics are really not important right now. Maybe stability and a better FPS, it's been getting better, but it's still not where it should be. There's also this outdated photo mode or recording mode. It's really not the best. There's much better out there right now. The livery editor giving a lot of problems to artists, and art in Forza Motorsports and Forza Horizon has always been a big thing, and if the livery editor is giving a lot of problems to artists, there's also something wrong there. But while I want to go back to Forza because it can be extremely fun, since it lacks a structure, it's hard to justify. But let us know in the comments, what do you think about Forza Turn 10 saying what it needs to be done and your experience thus far?